You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. So whenever you feel alone, just remember that those kings will always be there to guide you.
I don't think it is very useful to speculate on what God might or might not be able to do. Rather, we should examine what he actually does with the universe we live in.
We are all explorers, driven to know what's over the horizon. The most profound discoveries are not necessarily beyond that next star. They're within us, woven into the threads that bind us.
Hello, beautiful people. Happy Thursday, happy Jupiter Day, and happy Cinco de Mayo. Trying to use these fun sound effects more. We also have some heavy hitter Taurus birthdays today. The one, the only, Adele is a Taurus, of course. It just makes so much sense. Henry Cavill, who plays Superman, is also a Taurus. Big fan. Chris Brown celebrates a birthday today. Karl Marx would have celebrated a birthday today. Vanessa Bryant and Danielle Fishel, Topanga from Boy Meets World. Of course, all the 90s kids know Topanga. So if you have a birthday or if someone you know has a birthday or is a Taurus, let me know in the comments so we can give them a little shout out. So I want to know, taking the temperature, if you're watching me live or if you're joining this later, how are you feeling? Feeling a little funky, feeling a little off maybe even a little impulsive? We can thank Uranus and Taurus for that because the Sun and Uranus are meeting up today. And actually, the exact conjunction between the two was last night, or overnight, I should say, at 12:21 a.m. So we've been feeling this energy yesterday. We talked a lot about Uranus yesterday with Mars forming a sextile to Uranus. Today, though, that is the energy. It's very much rebellious, transformative. It could feel like a shift or a transition, pushing us out of our comfort zone to do things differently. So like I said, if you're watching, let me know if you're feeling it. You can see the Sun and Taurus here at the same point in the sky. We also have Venus in Aries forming a nice sextile to, what am I thinking of? What's the other transit today? My brain is like, brain fart. Oh, Mercury, duh. So over here, Venus in Aries forming a sextile to Mercury in Gemini. There we go. And that brings a nice, pleasant, loving, kind of a sweet energy into the forecast, but also with Mercury in Gemini, it's very chatty, kind of speedy, and with Venus in Aries, definitely fiery and passionate. So we could feel spontaneous or like we're seeking a thrill today. And if you're feeling that, well, you are right on time. So let's break this down transit by transit and really dive into what these aspects mean for us. Let's start with that conjunction between the Sun and Uranus. This is a great point to look at where 14 degrees Uranus falls in your chart. That's where the Sun is. That's where Uranus is right now. And just, you're going to want to know what's being activated there because Uranus has been here for a while and will continue to be here. So if there's something right around that midpoint of Taurus in your chart, it's probably being disrupted or changed right now. This could just look like a big surprise today with the Sun forming a conjunction to Uranus, or over the past couple days, or over the coming days. Remember, a conjunction, we really feel it for about a 5-degree orb. So we're really going to feel this all week long. This is a blending of energies. The sun is our life force energy. It's what brings in energy to the earth, literally, but also astrologically. Any time the sun is moving through a sign or crossing over another point in your chart, it's just really kind of shining a light on that area. And today, this week, the sun forming a conjunction to Uranus is really shining a light on disruption, rebellion, doing things differently in a lot of ways. So this is stirring up that kind of excitement, and it could feel like a thrill type of excitement, like, ooh, this is really fun, or it could feel like a complete disruption, right? It's no secret we've had a lot of disruptive news coming out, a lot of people voicing their opinions, voicing their independence, their own personal rebellion. That's very on point with the Uranus energy. Because of that sextile between Mars and Uranus that we talked about yesterday too, it's imploring us to act a little bit differently, like to literally do things in a way we've never done them before. You could even catch yourself off guard by kind of being a little weird or just deciding randomly to try something new. The best use of this energy is really to liberate yourself from your routines and your expectations. Overarchingly, Uranus wants to be liberated. Uranus rules Aquarius, and it's that free energy, not necessarily like unbridled, expansive energy, but needing to be sovereign, needing to be free, needing to have the ability to do things your own way and express yourself fully, authentically. This week could feel like if it's not authentic, we don't want it, Follow what excites you as well. Now, the warning label here, because as we know, there is a light and a shadow to every transit. Don't seek a thrill just to seek a thrill. You know what I mean? We don't want to jump headfirst into something just because we're looking for excitement. Really want to be intentional about where we're directing our energy, because this impulsive need for excitement could get us into a little bit of trouble if we don't have our wits about us while we are trying new things, right? So it's kind of this balance between putting ourselves out there, really tapping into our authenticity, but also making sure we're not being too crazy, right? So this is really a time to be open to change, open to transformation. Uranus is also known as the planet of innovation. So this is the time to level up, right? New technology could come out, new information could come out that disrupts society, disrupts the market, or you individually could experience some profound ideas of your own with the Sun and Uranus blending together. It could even just feel like physical reality is shifting right now. At the worst, this transit brings fiery outbursts, and if our need for a thrill is misplaced, it can cause some aggression or rebellion just for the sake of rebellion, which isn't really fun for anyone else around you. But at the best, this transit can bring breakthroughs, those innovative ideas, the ability to try new things and kind of rebel from your own fear, rebel from what's holding you back. So I would just say the best way to go about this week in general is to stay open to changes, stay open to new ideas, stay open to change of plans, course corrections, and trust that the universe is leading you in the direction you're supposed to be going. That's really the key here. But we've all been feeling shifts all week, at least those of us who live here in the United States. And, this could bring a breakthrough or new information that comes out, especially speaking of information. This is a great segue to our next transit. The sun don't shine there, I heard. I can't remember what I said, but love the input. Good morning to you, Bailey. Hi there. Okay, so let's move on to the next major transit we're talking about today. Like I said, the Sun and Uranus formed this exact conjunction overnight. So we're feeling the energy all week long. Might have even been feeling this yesterday. Today, though, at 11 p.m., so kind of the energy we're walking into, and this transit doesn't quite last as long because it's a Mercury transit, and Mercury is the fastest moving planet in our solar system. So tonight at 11 p.m. Pacific, Mercury forms a sextile to Venus. Mercury is the planet of communication, of information, of the news, and Venus is the planet of love, beauty, art, money. So when these two form a sextile, let me pull up the chart here, just refresh you on where these planets are at. Venus is over here in Aries at its detriment. Venus doesn't necessarily like to be in Aries. It can make us a little bit more selfish in our desires, but also more passionate and bold in expressing our love. Mercury is in Gemini, where it's at home, but that's definitely picking up the pace, bringing through information more quickly. It could feel like our thoughts are a little bit scattered because we're gathering information from so many different sources. Now, when these two form this nice 60-degree angle with each other, what does that mean for us tonight? Well, this could bring pleasant news or bold news in some way because Venus is in Aries. But I would say with the backdrop of all of this Uranus activation with the Sun conjunct Uranus, with Mars sextile Uranus, and Mars forming a sextile to the Sun by the end of the week. So we have a lot of like impulsive activation going on, impulsive energy kind of in the background, or rebellious energy in the background. I would say the best use of this transit is to do something differently that brings you joy, kind of follow that passion. We'll enjoy maybe a joy ride. I feel like I keep using the word joy, but we'll be drawn to activities, conversations that bring us pleasure. Mercury also rules short-term travel, so this could be a great day to go on a little road trip. Like I said, a joy ride. Having those spontaneous or impulsive decisions will actually bring us joy and kind of pique our excitement. With Mercury and Gemini, like we just want to be going and doing things all the time. So this could bring in pleasant or bold new information with Mercury forming a sextile to Venus, or it could implore us to follow our pleasure, follow our joy, do something that kind of lights us up. We'll also notice the beautiful details in life more easily. Mercury rules all the details and our perception of things because it's the planet of communication. So it's about the information we're taking in, the words we're speaking, the words we're writing. And Venus is all about our relationships. And so, you know, it just might feel like relating to other people is a little bit easier today. We can talk to others more easily. Being in relationship can be a little bit easier. And yeah, we'll just want to do things, like I said, a little differently. So this could be a great night to take your partner on a spontaneous date, or if you're feeling passionate, follow that passion. And it's likely that your partner is feeling that as well. This could also be, if you are single, a really great time to meet someone new. If you are willing to put yourself out there, try something different, as the Sun conjunction with Uranus is asking us to do, you might find yourself in a passionate or bold conversation with someone else, feeling that physical attraction to someone else in your daily happenings. Mercury also rules kind of our daily schedule and the small details that make up the whole day. So it could just feel like that passion, that boldness from Venus and Aries is infused into those little daily activities. I'm curious though, if you're watching, how is the energy feeling for you? Truly, I want to know, because I think everyone's going to be experiencing things differently today because Uranus is very individualistic. So what brings us each a thrill is definitely different, right? And the energy of Mercury sextile Venus is very interesting too. I just see it bringing in bold new information, bold new happenings, and some fresh passion, like infusing fresh passion into our relating to other people, into our thoughts, into our words. Could even bring through some bold ideas. Now that I think of it, with the Sun conjunct Uranus bringing through innovative ideas, it's like Mercury and Venus also bring in that fire and that passion to any little seed that's been planted or is starting to grow within us. All right, just started watching about a month ago, diving into my birth chart. Interesting that your Uranus is 14 degrees in Capricorn. What does that mean for you? I love this question, Rachel. So because Uranus is at 14 degrees Taurus, let me pull up the chart here so I can give you a little visual. So here is Uranus over here in Taurus. Your Uranus is at 14 degrees over here in Capricorn. Because they're both in earth signs, they are forming an exact trine to one another. So your natal Uranus at 14 degrees Capricorn is trine today's Uranus at 14 degrees in Taurus. This probably for you looks like flowing through some sort of change, like the shifts that you're experiencing, the new ideas that are coming in, even disruptions in your life are flowing very easily. It could, this to me, just looking at the chart, looks like an unfolding, right? Kind of a slow, steady unfolding of new things happening in your life, because with Uranus and earth signs, it's definitely the slow, steady disruption. It could just kind of feel like a rumbling a little bit, but because it's forming this beautiful, flowing, harmonious angle for you, Rachel, it's like you don't really have to do much for these changes to happen for you. You can kind of just sit back and allow these things to happen. And the disruptions could even feel like harmonious to everything else that you're creating in your life. So this is actually a really positive transit for you. If you are trying to make a change, you really don't have to try very hard at all. Look at that. Your natal Uranus is also at 14 degrees, but in Aquarius in the 3rd house. Okay, love this. So your natal Uranus is squaring exactly today's Uranus. So here is where your natal Uranus would be. It's exactly 90 degrees away. So in contrast to what I just told Rachel, this period of transition or change or disruption probably feels a little bit more tense for you or harsh for you. So I would just say, allow things to happen. Don't get too worked up if things aren't exactly going your way. It could be triggering some like rebellious nature within you, especially because your Uranus is in the 3rd house in Aquarius. For you as just a human, it's like you want to take in weird information in general with Aquarius ruling your 3rd house. Like you're probably drawn to like conspiracy theories and information that's just kind of odd. Uranus is at home in Aquarius though. So it's actually a very positive placement in your birth chart that you have Uranus in Aquarius. But Uranus in Taurus is not a comfortable placement, and Uranus has been in Taurus forever and will be in Taurus forever, like years, right? And so you're probably someone as a person who enjoys those disruptions, who enjoys rebellion, or just feels aligned with that, feels a little bit more in tune to that. Uranus in Taurus feels, just for all of us, like this disruptive, slow, steady churning of things that are happening. I mean, even look at what's happened over the past couple years. It's been this huge disruption with the pandemic and everything that's come of it, but it's felt very uncomfortable and like it's literally like chipping away at the earth, because Taurus is a very physical sign. So it's like all of these physical disruptions that have been happening are very slow and almost painstaking. And you like quick change. You like want to just go with it, flow with it, like jump into rebellion. You're all about it. So you could just be feeling this tension between like, I want things to change faster, or I have an idea of like how I think things should go and I want to be a little bit more rebellious, but it could feel like Uranus and Taurus is almost slowing that down for you. So this could create a little tension, or even like impulse, like you just really want to get it done and do things differently and try something new. And it could almost feel like the current Uranus is like triggering that in you. I don't know. Let me know if absolutely. Okay, good. I'm glad that resonated. Hi, Court. The Uranus and Aquarius generation is my fave. Yeah, you guys are all about disrupting technology, disrupting communities, like social media in general. I see that really being the Uranus and Aquarius generation coming up and like changing the way we communicate with each other and connect with each other in a lot of ways, just your whole generation. Gabby says, I'm frazzled, woke up, did yoga for the first time in a while. Beautiful use of this energy. Let me tell you, just doing something you haven't done in a long time, trying something different, literally disrupting your own routine. Yes, A+. Then found out I need to get new insurance to pay for mental health help. Not great. Sun Uranus square to your Leo ascendant. Yeah, so your Leo ascendant, that means that the Sun-Uranus square is actually happening right around your midheaven, I believe. So it's interesting that this is happening for you. I don't know what degree your ascendant is at, but it could be activating something in your 12th house when we're talking about health and mental health and kind of this need for healing in some way. But I love that you're leaning into this energy. And also, the more you lean into the current energy with the Sun-Uranus square happening around your midheaven, the more expansive it's going to be. So doing yoga for the first time in a while, like follow those instincts, follow those little flashes of insight or even little passions that are kind of calling to you. That's really going to be expansive for you, especially Gabby. And you know, I will say this transit with Uranus conjunct the sun can, like I said at the beginning of this, it can bring surprises, things that are not expected, like expect the unexpected today. But trust that whatever's being changed, whatever's being shifted, whatever challenges are being presented, or things that you're feeling resistance or even rebellion towards are meant for you, right? Like they're here to teach us a lesson, to push us in a new direction, to help us grow and level up. That's what Uranus wants us to do. Even though it's rebellious, think about when people rebel, it's because they want progress. So all of these irritations that are coming up for everybody, or surprises, positive surprises that are coming up for everybody, are really here to push us to the next level, to help us progress collectively and individually. So lean into those moments of calm. The yoga is beautiful and there's no rush. I know it can feel overwhelming though, especially dealing with insurance and paperwork and things like that. So just know that everything's happening for you, and welcome the idea for you, Gabby. I know I'm spending a lot of time with you, but welcome the idea that the new insurance is going to lead you to maybe a new provider that's more aligned for you, or help you get in contact with someone else that's meant to be on your path. I would just say try to stay in that mindset. But you have a lot of fixed energy with the Leo rising too, and fixed signs right now especially are probably feeling a little more aggravated because Taurus is a fixed sign, and so it's probably clashing with some of your other fixed placements. Just know that, yeah, Uranus has been on your midheaven, and Sun Saturn, very much aligning with the pandemic changes, building up to the Uranus square like the rest of Gen Z. Yeah, yep, sounds about right. But you know what? You got this. You got this. And Uranus on your midheaven isn't a bad thing. You know, it really is pushing you outside of your comfort zone in your career, in your long-term goals, maybe even pushing you in a new direction in that way. Uranus at 24. I love all of this. You guys are just bringing it in. Uranus at 24 degrees in Sagittarius. So your Uranus isn't making any super strong connections, which is honestly kind of nice because you can just be in this energy. Let's see. Here's Uranus and the sun today. So your Uranus would be over here forming what we call a quincunx or an inconjunct angle. So for you, Maribel, it might just feel like there's all this change happening. I'm not really quite sure how to interact with it. But it also depends on your other placements. If you have anything else in Taurus, that's going to be affected more strongly than your own natal Uranus because it's not making any connections to Uranus right now. Love how much you guys are diving into your own birth charts, though. That seriously makes me so happy. I'm so glad you guys are discovering yourself, learning how to work with the energy. Now let's talk about what's going on with the moon today. So the moon is still in Cancer. And when the moon is in Cancer, it's really interesting because we're talking a lot about rebellion, external activation, putting yourself out there, doing things differently. And the moon in Cancer might just feel like, I just want to be comfortable. And so that could be coming up for you as well. Like you're kind of excited about the rebellion, or you're definitely feeling shifts collectively happening or internally happening. But there's probably part of you with the moon in Cancer that's just like, can we just pull the covers under our head and be comfortable and like retreat back to our crab shell here? So it's an interesting moon phase that we're working with. We're leading up towards the first quarter moon in Leo. So when the moon moves into Leo, it'll be in its first quarter phase, which means this is the time to gather information, to plan, to prepare, to get ready to take action once the moon moves into Leo. The moon in Cancer could be just inviting us to tune into our body, tune into our emotions, gather the intelligence, the wisdom that our body is giving us. Remember, your body is an intelligent being aside from your mental state, aside from your spirit. So really tuning into our body can help us tune into our true emotions. And before we take action, this Cancer moon is really asking us to figure out, how do we really feel about things? Like, really, the moon's at home in Cancer, so it allows us to be more attuned to our intuition, more attuned to our emotions, and being in a comfortable state at some point today, like fully allowing your body to relax and feel safe, can help you tap into your true feelings. So I would also say, because we have Mercury sextile Venus, we have the Sun conjunct Uranus, you might feel like trying new food today, or comfort foods could feel especially nurturing for you. But I would say with the moon in Cancer, I always just think of food, because, Cancers love their food, love that nourishment. And using this energy, working together with the Cancer moon and this mashup between the Sun and Uranus, trying new food could be a really beautiful way to lean into this kind of rebellious nature. A little bit late, your Uranus is 17 degrees Aquarius. So your Uranus, kind of the same thing that I was telling Gabby, you might be feeling more tension with this transit, like almost being forced to make a change, or you want to be rebellious and independent with your Uranus and Aquarius. That's kind of part of your nature on some level, to march to the beat of your own drum in a lot of ways. But Uranus and Taurus could be making you question or forcing you to take action on the current changes that are happening for us collectively. It could just feel a little bit like uncomfortable, like you don't really know how to bargain your own need for sovereignty and rebellion with the collective transformation that's happening. Just know that there might be some tension for you, but a square with Uranus, your natal Uranus to the current Uranus, isn't necessarily a bad thing. It can kind of force change in your life in a disruptive way, but also in a necessary way, because remember, there are no accidents in astrology. I relate so deeply to Uranus and Capricorn in my 11th house at 11 degrees conjunct Neptune. Oh yeah, my desire to change the system is loud there. Yeah, definitely for you. You're like, we're changing how we create community. We have big dreams about the changes that can happen collectively for all of us, and that is you to a T, Court. And honestly, all of us who have Uranus and Capricorn right around these points are flowing more easily with the shifts that are happening. So our generation, it's interesting, because I feel like our generation is maybe being the most outspoken about what's happening, at least here in the US, with Roe versus Wade. And I feel like it's almost like this is our time. Like, we were meant to flow with this change. We are here to disrupt systems and structures with our Uranus and Capricorn. And what's happening with Uranus and Taurus, we're here for this. Let's break it down, okay? We are here to rebuild new systems, rebuild differently. It's like our generation is ready for this. It is our time. Yes, it is. Okay, back to the moon in Cancer. So just really be aware of checking into your body with the moon in Cancer. Listen to your body. Your body is going to be a direct line to your emotions right now. 9 p.m. tonight, the moon forms a sextile to Uranus. So this could be a moment where we're really asked to integrate those shifts, the rebellious nature, those changes into our body. This could actually cause some sort of emotional disruption, but whatever happens is going to open us up to a new awareness. So this could be an emotional disruption that brings in new insights. It could be an emotional disruption within ourselves or with someone we're around that creates a new level of awareness or opens our eyes to a new perspective. This transit, when the moon connects with Uranus and the sun, because that will happen a couple hours later, it's really asking us to lean into change and step into the next phase with confidence, as the sun is right there too. But remember, gaining new insight and pushing ourselves outside of our comfort zone can often trigger old patterns, old beliefs. So let me pull up the chart so I can just really paint a picture of what's happening later tonight. Jump ahead 12 hours here. So we have the moon over here. Where's the moon? Over here in Cancer, right? And we have Uranus and the sun in Taurus. So they're forming a 60-degree angle to each other. Our emotions, ruled by the moon, are supporting this change that's happening, and this change that's happening is supporting our emotions. But really, the action we have to take, the work we have to do to take the benefit of this transit is to be willing to try things differently, to be open to emotional changes that are happening within us, and keep an open mind. Now, at the same time, the moon is squaring off to Chiron. So the Cancer moon forms a square to Chiron in Aries. And that's why I say doing things differently, pushing ourselves outside of our comfort zone, even opening to new information can trigger old beliefs, can trigger old wounds. This can make us reactive or even angry, hostile even late tonight, especially if I see like hangry also, just make sure you're giving your body the nourishment it needs today for sure. When the moon is in Cancer, do not let yourself be hungry. That is a recipe for disaster. But just remember, being vulnerable, pushing yourself past your current limits can trigger old wounds. And it can do so in other people too. Really want to have patience, slow down today. Try not to completely retreat to your crab shell if you feel uncomfortable. Growth is uncomfortable. If it's uncomfortable, you're doing it right. If it's scary, you're probably doing it right. So just know and embrace that discomfort. Lean into that discomfort and allow it to transform you. Allow it to disrupt your current ways of thinking. Allow it to bring you to your next level. And then we talked about the moon forming a sextile to the sun shortly after, because the sun and Uranus are still conjunct. When the moon and the sun connect like this, it just gives us confidence and kind of vitality and reminds us of our abilities truly to evolve. So it's like, we got this. The sun and moon connecting in this way tonight really feel like a pat on the back. Like, it's okay. This is just what's supposed to be happening right now. You can do it. Walk confidently through the change. Also, at the same time, this is 11 p.m. Pacific time, the moon forms a trine to Mars, because, of course, we have all this Mars activation with the sun and Uranus right now, too. We talked about this yesterday. We'll talk about it more tomorrow, I believe, as well. So when the moon and Mars are forming this trine to each other, they're both in water signs. It's allowing us to take action from an emotionally aligned place. Again, kind of bringing in this surge of energy late tonight. It could even feel like excitement with your confidence, like we just figured out what this disruption is causing for us. We just had a flash of insight. We just figured out how we're reaching the next level, and it could feel exciting as we're ascending to a higher level of consciousness, as we're integrating the spiritual awareness that we're gaining, the collective awareness that we're gaining into our physical body. You might even try to move new awareness or move new emotions through you. Like, really, with the moon in Cancer, it's asking us to feel these shifts changing, how we show up, to feel the transformation moving through us. Dancing, moving your body tonight. I said this yesterday, but also sex could be great tonight. Really bodily focused, and with Mars in Pisces, it's like asking us to go with the flow, transcendental movement, spiritual movement. And sometimes I think sex is like the ultimate act of rebellion. Sorry if anybody has little ones listening, but it is what it is. I will take that as agreeance. So yeah, it's a very interesting energy today. Like, The boat is being rocked with the Sun and Uranus meeting up, with Mars kind of pushing that rebellious, disruptive energy. But the moon's in Cancer, and it's like, okay, how is this affecting me and my body and my emotional awareness? So it almost feels like, just looking at the energy as a whole, it almost feels like we are mentally aware of these disruptions, these changes happening for us, to the collective, to us individually, but at the same time, it might take our body a little bit of time to catch up to it or to fully integrate what's happening mentally. The moon in Cancer, just like I said, it wants us to be comfortable. It wants us to nurture our own body. Definitely feeling that urgency to get things done. Well, don't you have a lot of Virgo in your chart too? Because yeah, that's just normal for us Virgos. But I will say, Uranus can create a sense of urgency too. And with the Mars activation, it's kind of like, okay, change it, do it, let's go. So, I can see that as well. If you're feeling like I've said impulsive 20 times, but if you're feeling like a little impulsive or like, I need to do something differently, that would be the energy as well. Okay, those are today's transits. We've talked about how the Sun is forming a sextile to Mars in the background. Mars is also forming a sextile to Uranus. So if you're curious about that transit, or if something's going on for you in the mid degrees of Pisces, maybe go back to yesterday's show and watch that. And we also have in the background Venus square Lilith still. We talked about this yesterday as well. Venus in Aries squaring off to Lilith in Cancer, really creating this tension and almost this need for bodily autonomy. We're really aware of who is in control of our bodies right now with Lilith and Cancer squaring off to Venus, and we have this almost intense passion or desire to make it known that we are in control of our bodies, right? And we also have Jupiter still forming a sextile to Pluto. So Jupiter over here at the very end of Pisces, connecting with Pluto in this way, amplifying transformation, and it's eclipse season, and we are in Mercury's shadow period. So we got a lot going on. A lot of changes are happening. Mercury's shadow period can be a little bit revealing or create, it can bring about the things that we are going to have to review during Mercury retrograde, which starts next week. So there's a lot of shifts, a lot of changes happening right now. The time is now. Yes, Bailey. It does feel different than just that normal Virgo busy energy. It does feel like we need to do something different, like individually and collectively. Like we're here to like push the envelope a little bit. Your boyfriend is a Cancer, so on point. He loves food. Oh, he's a good cook too. Cancer men, I am telling you. Any Cancer, like Cancer moons also, they always are just great cooks. Seriously, like they're just having a Cancer in your life. Literal chef's kiss. All right, let's do an overview, and then we will go ahead and pull a card. So, this Cinco de Mayo, we have the Sun and Uranus meeting up in Taurus. Really all week long, we're feeling this rebellious energy, but this transit is shining light on the disruptions that are happening to us individually and collectively. With Mars also forming a sextile to this conjunction, it's asking us to do things differently, to literally step outside of our comfort zone and trust in the shifts that are happening, not to us, but for us. Mercury late tonight forms a sextile to Venus, which brings a bold passion and energy, and it could bring in good news, new information, and it could also make us more inclined to communicate in a passionate way, maybe to put ourselves out there and be a little bit more fiery. Today would also be a great day for a spontaneous short trip, or just to follow whatever passion is lighting you up. Just make sure you're not moving too quickly or doing anything too reckless. We tend to be a little bit more impulsive or prone to outbursts when the Sun and Uranus meet in this way, or when we have any Uranus activation, really. Meanwhile, the moon is still in Cancer. So while we are mentally aware of all these shifts and changes happening around us, our body wants comfort. Our body is craving safety and security. So this is really a beautiful opportunity to give yourself some time to check in with your emotions. We're more in tune with our intuition right now. What is your body telling you? What is that intuitive being inside of you wanting to happen? And tuning into that can help us lean into the change a little bit more, understand why this is happening, understand what direction we're really meant to go in. For some of us, this could feel like a crossroads. So tapping into your intuition, moving in a way that feels natural as the as the moon flows with Mars tonight, can really help you step outside of your comfort zone. But be warned, the moon is also squaring off to Chiron late tonight, reminding us that growth is uncomfortable. Doing things differently, pushing ourselves past our current limits can trigger old beliefs and old wounds. So we really want to be gentle with ourselves, understanding of the discomfort we're going through, and make sure we're not projecting any tension that we're feeling internally, externally onto the people we love. All right, let's pull a card. I'm gonna do something differently today. I am going to pull from this deck that has burned me before. Okay, if you've been watching a while, you know this deck. This deck was sent to me by a lovely woman. It's called A Reverent Inspiration. And she just sent it because she's trying to get it out there. It's unlike any other oracle deck I have ever seen. Let me, in the comments, I'm just going to put the website, because especially with this Uranus energy, like this is Uranus in an oracle deck. But if you're interested and you're looking for something funky to add to your oracle collection, this is the website. I just added it to the comments. And I will warn you that we've gotten some very interesting cards out of this deck before, so you're gonna have to bear with me. But I figured, it's the perfect day to pull from a really weird deck. So as I'm shuffling, this is your time to ask questions. I see you talking about, oh my goodness, we have Taurus in the second house, 2 degrees Taurus, but your Uranus is 26 degrees Sag in your 9th house. Venus is 0 degrees Aries. So I think the Venus activation, you're going to feel a little bit more. 2 degrees Taurus, Uranus. Okay. Like I said, I don't think the Sag energy, your Uranus and Sag, is really going to play into this as much, but because you have Venus and Aries in your first house, really pay attention to what's going on with Venus. And today, Venus forms a sextile to Mercury. You're having your own Venus return with your Venus in Aries. You might just be feeling especially bold and more willing to express it and put yourself out there. So I would say pay attention to all the Venus activations coming up right now. I forgot to bring up your comment, and I don't want to mispronounce your name, but this is what I was referring to. With your Venus at 0 degrees Aries too, like, you are probably pretty passionate and bold as a person, maybe a little impulsive when you are in love, or like willing to just dive right into relationships. Not a bad thing. We need people like you in the world. Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. We love a Forrest Gump reference, right? Okay. What do we need to know on this very disruptive, rebellious day? Yes. Just flow. Just flow is the card we got. A pleasant surprise in this sometimes off-putting deck. Just flow. I love this message. Mars is in Pisces, you guys, reminding us to go with the flow. Let's see. Here we are. Here's what it says. Flow is happening. You can either fight it or go with it. Life gets easier when you flow. Who do you think you're fooling? You don't know what you're doing anyway. Lose control already. What if you just let go? Wait, did those words relax you? What do you have to lose? You might get happy, and that would be bad, very bad. Bonus, you might make your mom mad, very mad, and that would be very bad, very, very bad. Hashtag control freak. I love that we pulled this card because Uranus and Taurus, you know, Taurus likes stability. Taurus likes to be in control. This Taurus energy is very solid, right? And Uranus and Taurus could feel like the ground we're standing on is literally like shaking or shifting beneath us. And this is reminding us, like, it's all happening for us. The more we flow with it, the more we open to change, the easier it is to navigate that change. Very pleasantly surprised by this deck today. Like I said, I put the website where you can buy it in the description. Very grateful that they sent this to me for free. And this isn't an advertisement or anything. They just were really nice and sent it to me. But yeah, this is a reminder. Go with the flow today. Be like this little goldfish, okay? And I think I love that it's a goldfish too, because we might have a little bit of goldfish energy today. Like, especially with Venus and Aries, it's like, oh, that looks exciting. Let's go for it. You know, it's that like short-term memory, goldfish memory. We're just like, oh, let's follow our excitement. Let's go over here. Let's do that. And that is part of going with the flow. Follow what lights you up. Follow that excitement. See how it feels in your body with the moon in Cancer. Test the waters. Dip your toe in. Try new things and see if they resonate. See how they feel for you. This is a really great day to try things, test things out, see if they're meant for you, see if they're not. All you can do is try, and you never know. You might pleasantly surprise yourself. Today is a day full of surprises. All right, everybody. Unless anybody else has questions, that's going to do it for me this morning. Tomorrow, we're going to talk through the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the first quarter moon that's coming up. Really, this continual energy being activated between Mars, the Sun, and Uranus. We'll be talking about that a little bit more and getting you prepared for your weekend. So I hope you'll join me tomorrow morning, probably right about 9:30 a.m., and you'll be able to watch the forecast all weekend long if you can't join me live. I hope this video was helpful for you. If you found this guidance helpful today, please go ahead and like and subscribe to our channel. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers so we can finally monetize these videos, keep them coming to you for free every single day. It's so important to me that this information is free and accessible to you because it's truly changed my life. I know some of the people watching right now agree. Understanding astrologically what's going on. Take this as someone literally in the middle of my Saturn return. Like, understanding the energy helps us flow through it so much more easily, right? All right. I am so grateful you showed up for yourself today. I'm so grateful you asked such wonderful questions and got curious about your own charts today. I'm so grateful you showed up for this community today. And I love you. I will see you right back here tomorrow morning for another episode of Transits Today. But until then, stay curious. Thank you so much for joining us and aligning with the energy of the universe today. If you enjoyed this morning's episode of Transits Today, you can join our live astrology discussion every weekday morning right here wherever you're watching. And head to thespiritualjournalist.com to read your daily astrology forecast and browse the Spiritual Shop. The most fun way to help keep these forecasts free and support more content like this is to buy yourself a little something on our website. But if you're feeling extra generous, you can also buy me a coffee to fuel future live streams. Just tap the link in the description or head to buymeacoffee.com and search The Spiritual Journalist. And speaking of, you can also tune in to The Spiritual Journalist, our weekly live interview where we ask our guests questions about everything from crystals and manifestation to mental health and the environment. Those conversations stream live right here wherever you're watching now every Tuesday. I'm so grateful you found us here, and I can't wait for our next conversation.